Hi guys, and welcome to another Gas City Gaming Warhammer 40k 8th edition preview video. In this video, we'll be taking a look at a few other things that were leaked today. Now recently, some stores have been starting to get the books ahead of time, right? Because if you filled so many pre-orders, you got the books ahead of time to kind of go over and show people to help them decide what book they wanted to get for their pre-orders and stuff. So we've been seeing a lot more of the leaks come out. All the places where I've found them will be in the description below, and if this video starts to take a while again, we'll also have some timestamps in the description below as well. But first things first, this video contains info on knights. We even have some of their points costs, like base points costs, Space Wolves, and Tyranids. So a few unit descriptions, points cost for each of those. First up, though, we have our knights. So if you're an Imperial Knight player, this is what you've been waiting for. Your costs for some of them, some of the upgrades. So our first one here is a Knight Errant. They start at 24 wounds, so from 24 to 13 wounds, they move 12 inches, have a weapon skill of 3, and ballistic skill hitting on 3s. From 7 to 12 wounds, they move 9 inches and hit on 4s. From 1 to 6 wounds, they move 6 inches and hit on 5s. They have a Strength 8, Toughness 8, 24 wounds, 4 attacks, Leadership 9, and a 3-up save. A Knight Errant is a single model equipped with a Reaper Chainsword, a Thermal Cannon, a Heavy Stubber, and Titanic Feet. The Heavy Stubber is a 36-inch range, Heavy 3, Strength 4, AP nothing, and 1 damage piece. The Melt-A-Gun is an option you can take. You can replace the Heavy Stubber with it. It has a 12-inch range, Assault 1, Strength 8, AP -4, and D6 damage. If the target is within half range of this weapon, roll 2 dice while inflicting the damage with it and discard the lowest result. Thermal Cannon is 36-inch range, Heavy D3, Strength 9, AP -4, and D6 damage. When targeting units with 5 or more models, changes weapon's type to Heavy D6. If the target is within half range of this weapon, roll 2 dice when inflicting damage with it and discard the lowest result. The Reaper Chainsword is a melee weapon with strength +4, so it's strength 12 on this guy, armor modifier of -3, and does flat out 6 damage. Thunderstrike Gauntlet is strength ×2, so strength 16. I think that's the new ceiling we've seen so far on strength. Does an armor modifier -4 and 6 damage apiece. So on 4 successful hits, wounds, and unsaved things, this does straight up 24 damage because I have 4 attacks from your Knight Errant. When attacking with this weapon, you must subtract 1 from the hit roll. If a vehicle or monster is slain by this weapon, pick an enemy model within 9 inches of the bearer and roll a d6. On a 4+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. So you pick up a tank, go squish, and then throw it at somebody else. I'm a fan of that. Titanic Feet are strength user, so strength 8. AP modifier -2 and d3 damage. Make 3 hit rolls for each attack made with this weapon instead of 1. So you can turn your 4 attacks, if you're surrounded by a blob of infantry, into 12. So warrior options, this model may take an item from the Carapace weapons list. This model may replace its Reaper Chainsword with a Thunderstrike Gauntlet, and this model may replace its Heavy Stubber with a Melt-A-Gun. It has Ion Shield, so a 5-up invulnerable save against shooting attacks. If it explodes on a 6, on a d6 roll of a 6, it explodes, and each unit within 2d6 suffers d6 mortal wounds. Is also a super heavy walker. This model can fall back in the movement phase and still shoot and or charge the same turn. When this model falls back, it can move over enemy infantry models, though it must end its move more than 1 inch from any enemy units. In addition, this model can move and fire heavy weapons without suffering the penalty to hit rolls. Finally, this model only gains a bonus to its save for being in cover if at least half of the model is obscured from the firer. So no more having a toe into cover and, oh, I get a bonus to my save now, or I get a cover save now, because they're all amalgamated into 1 save. So your cover bonus would give it a 2-up save, but you have to be behind a building or something to get for this thing to get any kind of cover save, which I appreciate. Its faction keywords are Imperium, Questor Imperialis, has a household instead of chapter. Keywords are Titanic, Vehicle, and Knight Errant. So what we're going to do, that's our first knight. The Knight Errant, kitted out with its base kit, so it's Reaper Chainsword, Thermal Cannon, Heavy Stubber, and Titanic Feet, costs 430 points. And going forward for the rest of the knights, if we've mentioned something already, I'm just going to save time for the video, I'm just going to skip over it. So if a Heavy Stubber, we're going to skip over that for the next few knights. Same with Melt-A-Guns, Thermal Cannons, etc. Since we've already had that description, we're going to skip over it for the next few knights, but we'll hit on anything that's not a repeat on the other knights, we will hit on. So the Knight Warden comes in at 24 wounds. So from 13 to 24 wounds, it moves 12 inches. Weapon skill and ballistic skill hitting on 3s. From 7 to 12 wounds, it moves 9 inches and hits on 4s. From 1 to 6 wounds, it moves 6 inches and hits on 5s. It is Strength 8, Toughness 8, 24 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, and a 3-up save. A Knight Warden is a single model equipped with a Reaper Chainsword, an Avenger Gatling Cannon, a Heavy Stubber, a Heavy Flamer, and Titanic Feet. The Avenger Gatling Cannon is a 36-inch range, heavy 12, strength 6, AP modifier -2, and 2 damage apiece. The Heavy Flamer is an 8-inch range, heavy D6, strength 5, AP modifier -1, and 1 damage, and it automatically hits, like all our Flamer template weapons. And that's all the new stuff for our Knight Warden. Warrior options: this model may take an item from the Carapace weapons list. This model may replace its Reaper Chainsword with a Thunderstrike Gauntlet. This model may replace its Heavy Stubber with a Melt-A-Gun. It has its Ion Shields, Explodes, and Super Heavy Walker special rules. It has Imperium, Questor Imperialis, and Household faction keywords. And its keywords are Titanic, Vehicle, and Knight Warden. So the Knight Warden, kitted out with its base Chainsword, Gatling Cannon, Stubber, Flamer, and Feet, costs 471 points. The Knight Paladin comes in at 24 wounds, so from 13 to 24 wounds it can move 12 inches and hits on 3s. 7 to 12 wounds it moves 9 inches, hitting on 4s. 1 to 6 wounds moves 6 inches, hitting on 5s. It is Strength and Toughness 8, 24 wounds, 4 attacks, Leadership 9, and a 3-up save. A Knight Paladin is a single model equipped with a Reaper Chainsword, a Rapid-Fire Battle Cannon, 2 Heavy Stubbers, and Titanic Feet. So the Rapid-Fire Battle Cannon is our new weapon here. It's a 72-inch range, heavy 2d6, strength 8, AP -2, and d3 damage apiece. So that's hitting pretty hard. Warrior options: this model may take an item from the Carapace weapons list. This model may replace its Reaper Chainsword with a Thunderstrike Gauntlet. This model may replace 1 Heavy Stubber with a Melt-A-Gun. Has an Ion Shield, Explodes, and Super Heavy Walker special rules. And his faction keywords are Imperium, Questor Imperialis, Household, and its keywords are Titanic, Vehicle, and Knight Paladin. Now the Knight Paladin, kitted out with its Chainsword, Battle Cannon, and 2 Heavy Stubbers and Feet, costs 463 points. A Knight Crusader starts at 24 wounds as well. From 13 to 24 wounds, moves 12 inches, hits on 3s. From 7 to 12 wounds, moves 9 inches, hitting on 4s. From 1 to 6 wounds, moves 6 inches, hitting on 5s. Strength and Toughness are 8, 24 wounds, 4 attacks, Leadership 9, and a 3-up save. A Knight Crusader is a single model equipped with an Avenger Gatling Cannon, a Thermal Cannon, a Heavy Stubber, a Heavy Flamer, and Titanic Feet. I don't know if we've seen the Thermal Cannon yet, so we'll go over that. It's 36-inch range, heavy D3, strength 9, AP modifier -4, and D6 damage. When targeting units with 5 or more models, change this weapon type to heavy D6. If the target's within half range of this weapon, roll 2 dice when inflicting damage with it and discard the lowest result. So again, the Thermal Cannon's going to hit pretty hard as well. The Warrior options: this model may take an item from the Carapace weapons list. This model may replace its Thermal Cannon with a Rapid-Fire Battle Cannon and a Heavy Stubber. This model may replace 1 Heavy Stubber with a Melt-A-Gun. So it has Ion Shield, Explodes, and Super Heavy Walker special rules. Faction keywords are Imperium, Questor Imperialis, and Household. Keywords are Titanic, Vehicle, and Knight Crusader. So the Crusader, if you bring it with a Thermal Cannon, is 508 points. With a Battle Cannon, is 540. And again, the link to all these descriptions and things will be in the description below. And the last one, the Knight Gallant, comes 24 wounds, so from 13 to 24 wounds, so all going to be the same. Moves 12 inches, hits on 3s. From 7 to 12 wounds, moves 9 inches, hitting on 4s. From 1 to 6 wounds, moves 6 inches, hitting on 5s. His Strength and Toughness 8, 24 wounds, 4 attacks, Leadership 9, and a 3-up save. A Knight Gallant is a single model equipped with a Reaper Chainsword, a Thunderstrike Gauntlet, a Heavy Stubber, and Titanic Feet. So this is more your melee guy than anything, with his little Heavy Stubber poking out the side. So nothing new there as far as weapons go, but this model may take an item from the Carapace weapons list, and this model may replace its Heavy Stubber with a Melt-A-Gun. It has Ion Shield, Explodes, and Super Heavy Walker special rules. Its faction keywords are Imperium, Questor Imperialis, and Household. Its keywords are Titanic, Vehicle, and Knight Gallant. The Knight Gallant, equipped with its Chainsword, Thunderstrike Gauntlet, Heavy Stubber, and Titanic Feet, comes to 389 points, making it the cheapest Knight you can equip and have on the battlefield. Whew. Okay, so here we get just some more of the weapon special rules, things we haven't gone over yet. Include the Iron Storm Missile Pod. So it's 72-inch range, heavy D6, strength 5, armor modifier of -1, and 2 damage. This weapon can target units that are not visible to the bearer. We have the Storm Spear rocket pod. It's a 48-inch range, heavy 3, strength 8, armor modifier of -2, and does d6 damage. And a Twin Icarus autocannon. It's a 48-inch range, heavy 4, strength 7, armor modifier of -1, and does 2 damage apiece. Add 1 to all hit rolls made for this weapon against targets that can fly. Subtract 1 from the hit rolls made for this weapon against all other targets. And I know it's something little. This is a compliment, by the way. I started that out sounding really negative, but this is a good thing. I love the fact that Icarus weapons can target things that can fly. If you don't know, Icarus was the guy who made wax wings, flew too close to the sun, and fell because the wings melted in Greek mythology. So I just love that the things that can shoot things that can fly are called Icarus. It's a little thing. It's not new to 8th edition, but it's been around for a while, but I just enjoy that. It's a personal thing. Yeah, so that's all our weapon details on that page there. Like I said, I'm going to try and save a little time over previous videos by not re-going over everything on every page. Again, if you guys want to read along, all of these will be in the description below. As far as cost for weapons go, so the knights all come in base at 320 points, and then you equip them out with everything here. So our Reaper Chainsword is 30 points, Thunderstrike Gauntlet is 35, Titanic Feet are free, so everything has Titanic Feet. They're free, kind of like how all the Space Marines have bolt weapons, so all the bolt weapons are free. The Avenger Gatling Cannon is 95 points, Heavy Flamer 17, Heavy Stubbers 4, Iron Storm Missile Pod 16, Melt-A-Gun 17, that Rapid Fire Battle Cannon is the most expensive weapon, coming in at 100 points, Storm Seer Rocket Pod is 45, Thermal Cannon is 76, and Twin Icarus Autocannon is 30, and of course, like I said, all of the Knights come in base, unequipped, with everything, without anything, does not include War Gear at 320 points. So now we're going to get into our Space Wolves. So we have just a little bit of the costs here for them. So Bjorn the Fell-Handed, you get for 210 points. A unit of 5 to 16 Blood Claws is 13 points. Wolfguard Pack Leader in Terminator Armor is 31 points. Cyber Wolves, our unit of 1 to 5, are 15 points apiece. Fenrisian Wolves, a unit of 5 to 15, are 9 points apiece. Grey Hunters, a unit of 5 to 11, is 14 points apiece. The Wolfguard Pack Leader in Terminator Armor being 31 points. An Iron Priest is 58 points, Iron Priest on a Bike is 65, Iron Priest on a Thunderwolf is 80 points, Lone Wolf is 75 points, Lone Wolf in Terminator Armor is 115 points. Long Fangs, unit of 5 to 7, are 15 points apiece, with the Wolfguard Pack Leader in Terminator Armor coming in at 31 again. Rune Priest is 68 points, Rune Priest in Terminator Armor is 120 points, Rune Priest on a Bike is 109, Rune Priest with a Jump Pack is 91 points. Skyclaws. Sorry, I was sneeze coming. Skyclaws are a unit of 5 to 10 for 16 points. A Stormfang Gunship is 155. Storm Wolf is 165. Swiftclaw Attack Bikes, a unit of 1 to 3, are 45 points apiece. Swiftclaws, a unit of 3 to 11, are 31 points each, with an extra attack bike coming in for 45 points. Thunderwolf Cavalry, a unit of 3 to 6, are 45 points. Wolfguard, a unit of 5 to 10, are 16 points. Wolfguard Battle Leader is 60 points. Wolfguard Battle Leader in Terminator Armor is 92 points, and a Wolfguard Battle Leader on a Bike is 85. A Wolfguard Battle Leader on a Thunderwolf is the most expensive at 97 points. A Wolfguard Battle Leader with a Jump Pack is 63 points. A Wolfguard in Terminator Armor, a unit of 5 to 10, come in at 31 points apiece. Wolfguard on Bikes in a unit of 5 to 10 is 34 points apiece. Wolfguard with Jump Packs, a unit of 5 to 10, is 21 points apiece. Wolflord on a Thunderwolf is 128 points. Now keep in mind, all of those point costs are without any war gear. Things like bolt guns, bolt pistols, chain swords, grenades, those are all free, but if you want to upgrade your long fangs to take rocket launchers, meltas, etc., those are going to be added on costs to this base cost listed here. Now a Wolf Priest, and again these do not include war gear, looks to be 90 points. Wolf Priest in Terminator Armor is 144. Wolf Priest on a Bike is 135 points. Wolf Priest with a Jump Pack is 112. Wolf Scouts, a unit of 5 to 11, is 11 points apiece. And Wolfen, a unit of 5 to 10, are 37 points apiece. And again, not including war gear. Units that do include war gear are the following. So Arjak, I'm going to butcher some of these names, forgive me. Arjak Rockfist is 140 points. Now these all include war gear, remember that. Canis Wolfborn is 150. Harold Deathwolf is 188. Crom Dragon Gaze is 119. Logan Grimnar is 190. Logan Grimnar on Storm Rider is 230. Lucas the Trickster is 118. Murderfang is 200. Njal. Stormcaller is 138. Njal, Stormcaller in Runic Terminator Armor is 167. Ragnar Blackmane is 141 points, and Ulrich the Slayer is 133 points. So there's all of your unit costs for your My goodness. My brain just exploded, like, just now. Did you guys see it? Wow. It just, boop, and it went away. Space Wolves. Space Wolves. I remember things. Space Wolves. Alright. Also could have gone to the next page and would have known, but... so their war gear, a little description of some of their specific stuff. Just like we saw if you've seen the Blood Angel video, they have specific equipment. This is the Space Wolf specific equipment. I'm not gonna lie, I had to look down to remember that they were called Space Wolves 5 seconds after remembering it. Alright, so foe hammer in shooting is a 12-inch range, assault 1, strength times 2, AP -3, and D3 damage. When attacking characters or monsters with this weapon, it has a damage of just 3 rather than D3. Hellfrost Cannon. When attacking with this weapon, choose one of the profiles below. If a model suffers any unsaved wounds from this weapon, but is not slain, roll a d6. On a 6, that target suffers a mortal wound. So no more just removed from play with the Hellfrost, they just suffer a mortal wound, an unsavable wound. Dispersed Beam is 24-inch, heavy D3, strength 6, AP -2, and 1 damage. Or Focused Beam is 24-inch, heavy 1, strength 8, armor modifier -4, and up to D6 damage. Hellfrost Destructor is when attacking with this weapon, choose one of the profiles below. If model suffers any unsaved wounds from this weapon but is not slain, roll a d6. On a 6, the target suffers a mortal wound. Dispersed Beam is 24 inches, heavy 3d3, strength 6, armor -2, and 2 damage apiece. Or the Focused Beam is heavy 3, strength 8, armor modifier -4, and d6 damage apiece. And you can also have your Hellfrost Pistol. A 12-inch range, pistol 1, strength 8, armor modifier -4, and d3 damage. And our same, the Hellfrost rule, that appears just to be the flat-out Hellfrost rule. If a model suffers a wound and isn't killed, roll d6. On a 6, it suffers a mortal wound. Nightwing, that's the Eagle Hawk thing, I think, right? I don't have Space Wolves myself, I've seen them a lot. It's 12-inch range, assault d6, strength 3, AP nothing, and 1 damage. Stormfrag Auto Launcher, I think that's the Wolfen thing, right? It's 12-inch range, assault d3, strength 4, AP nothing, and 1 damage. Twin Hellfrost Cannon has the Hellfrost rule, of course. Dispersed Beam is 24-inch, heavy 2d3, strength 6, armor -2, and 1 damage. Or the Focused Beam is 24-inch range, heavy 2, strength 8, armor -4, and d6 damage. So this one goes over the points cost of some of their weapons. So it's some kind of shield. Doesn't say storm shield, and I can't quite make that out from here. Let's see if we can zoom that in a little bit. I can't quite make that out, but it's whatever it is. Some kind of shield's 15 points. Maybe if you're a Space Wolf player, you'll know what that is. Camo cloaks are 3 points. Psychic hood is 26. Armor, runic armor, I think that is 7 points. Runic Terminator armor is 5 points. Well, that seems good. Storm Shield for Thunderwolf Cavalry is 15, and a Wolf Standard is 10 points. Hellfrost Cannon is 25 points. Hellfrost Destructor is 50. The Auto Launcher is 4 points. Twin Hellfrost Cannon is 30 points. Crushing Teeth and Claws are free. I'm guessing that's on your Wolf Guard. Fenrisian Great Axe is 40 points. Frost Axe is 10. Frost Claws are 15. A Frost Sword is 7, Great Frost Axe is 17, Great Wolf Claw is 25 points, Runic Axe is 16, Runic Stave is 14 points, Runic Sword is 12 points, Teeth and Claws are free, Tempest Hammer is 30 points, True Claw is free, a Wolf Claw, a single one is 9 points, a pair is 13, and Wolfen Claws are free because they are part of their body. So, now we have a few more details about the Space Wolf weapons. Let's see if we can make that a little bit. There we go. So the Axe Morkai. When attacking with this weapon, choose one of the profiles below. It's one-handed is strength +2, AP -3, and D3 damage, or two-handed is strength ×2, AP -3, and 3 damage. But if you attack with that profile, the two-handed profile, you subtract 1 from your hit roll, it becomes unwieldy, essentially. Claw of the Jackal Wolf is strength +1, AP -2, and 2 damage. You can reroll failed wound rolls with this weapon. Crushing Teeth and Claws, or melee weapon, strength 5, AP -1, and 1 damage. After a model on this mount makes its close combat attacks, you can attack with its mount. Make 3 additional attacks using this weapon profile. So when your Thunderwolf Cavalry fight, your guy on top can swing, and then immediately all the mounts swing. It's not alternating. So, okay, my Marines on the Wolves will swing, now your guys will swing, now the Wolves will swing. No, my Marines on the Wolves will swing, and then the Wolves will swing, and now you get to pick, right? Fenrisian Great Axe is +4 strength, armor modifier -3, and d6 damage. Each time the bearer fights, it can make one additional attack with this weapon. Flurry of Teeth and Claws, strength 5, armor modifier -1. See Logan Grimnar on Storm Rider to data sheet, so I'm guessing he has his own special rule for something like that. Foe Hammer is strength ×2, armor -3, and d3 damage. When attacking characters or monsters, has damage of 3. Frost Axe is strength +2, armor -2, and 1 damage. Frost Claws are strength +1, armor -2, and 1 damage. Each time it fights, you can make one additional attack with this weapon. You can reroll failed to wound rolls with this weapon. Frost Sword is strength +1, armor modifier -3, and 1 damage. Frost Fang is strength +1, armor modifier -4, and 2 damage. Glacius is strength +2, armor modifier -2, and 2 damage. If a model suffers any unsaved wounds from this weapon, but is not slain, roll a d6. On a 6, suffers d3 mortal wounds. So our Hellfrost rule, but pumped up. It was a really bad Arnold impersonation, I apologize for that. Great Frost Axe is strength +3, armor modifier -3, and d3 damage. The bearer can make one additional attack with this weapon on a turn in which it has charged. You have the Great Wolf Claws, strength +4, armor -2, and d6 damage. You can reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon. The Murder Claws, strength ×2, armor modifier -3, and 3 damage. You can reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon. So, shred, right? Just they want to have that on the sheet, which I can appreciate. Runic Axe, +1 strength, armor modifier -2, and d3 damage. Runic Stave, strength +2, AP -1, and d3 damage. Runic Sword, strength user, AP -3, and d3 damage. Staff of the Stormcaller, strength +2, armor -1, and d3 damage. Teeth and Claws, strength user, AP -1, and 1 damage. The Tempest Hammer is strength melee, strength ×2, AP -3, and 3 damage. If model suffers an unsaved wound from this weapon, though it doesn't die, roll a d6. On a 6, the target suffers a mortal wound. True Claw is strength +5, AP -4, and d6 damage. You can reroll failed wound rolls with this weapon. Wolf Claw, strength +1, AP -2, and 1 damage. And you can has Shred, essentially reroll failed wound rolls, and model armed with 2 Wolf Claws can make one additional attack with this weapon. Wolfen Claws are strength user, AP -1, and 1 damage, and Worm Claw is strength +2, AP -2, and d3 damage. So all you Wolf players, that is most of your stuff. And of course we have the special Wolfen Space Wolves Psyker Discipline. Again, you can roll a d3 or just choose depending on how you and your opponent want to play. The first power is called Stormcaller, has a warp charge value of 6 on 2d6. If manifested, then until the start of your next psychic phase, the Psyker and any friendly Space Wolves, units within 6 inches of him, gain the benefit of being in cover. Oh, so that's not bad. Adds +1 to all your saves, essentially now, is how cover works, so that could be pretty good, especially if you're facing an army with a lot of high-powered shooting, maybe some knights, for example, just saying. Tempest Wrath has a warp charge value of 6 on 2d6. If manifested, pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. Your opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls they make for that unit until the start of your next psychic phase. And last one is Jaws of the World Wolf, has a warp charge value of 7 on 2d6. If manifested, pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of the Psyker, other than a vehicle. Roll 2d6 and subtract the target's move characteristic. The target unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the result. Oh, that seems really good. That seems pretty good. Really slow armies, or like big monstrous creatures that are big and plotting and slow, like Nurgle stuff, for example. That seems interesting. I can get along with Jaws of the World Wolf. That seems like a good time to me. And we are into our Tyranid previews now. So we had our Knights, we had our Space Wolves, and now we are getting into our Tyranid stuff. So this one, I don't know about you guys, but I can't really read this particular picture, unfortunately. I will give you the source, but we have all the info on our Tyranid Prime and our Turvagon. I will try to get in there. Yeah, I apologize. I'll try and get the stat line for. No, I don't want to even try and get the stat line because I'd rather say nothing than say the wrong thing. So again, if you want to take a look at this picture, I will put it in the link below. But I don't want to quote anything off of these because I can't quite make it out. And like I said, I'd rather say nothing than say the wrong thing, but the source I will make available to you down in the description below. The Trigon Prime, this guy's a little bit better. I can make this one out for you. Trigon Prime starts at 12 wounds, and from 7 to 12 wounds moves 9 inches, has a weapon skill of 3+, and bliss skill of 4+. From 4 to 6 wounds, it moves 7 inches, weapon skill of 4+, and bliss skill of 5+. From 1 to 3 wounds remaining, it moves 5 inches, hits on 5s in weapon skill, and 6s for ballistic skill. It has a strength 7, toughness 6, 12 wounds, 6 attacks, leadership 9, and a 3-up save. A Trigon Prime is a single model armed with bioelectric pulse, with contaminated spines, a something rattle, and 3 pairs of massive scything talons. So bioelectric pulse with contaminated spines is a shooting weapon, has a range of 12 inch, it's assault 12, strength 5, AP nothing, and 1 damage. It's that something rattle is a melee weapon, strength user, AP -1 and 1 damage. If a unit suffers any unsaved wounds from this weapon, add 1 to any morale tests that they take until the end of their turn. So, you know, the more you beat your leadership by with your units lost and plus your d6, it's how many you lose, so you don't want anything added to that test. Now, the Scything Talons are melee weapon, strength user, so strength 7, AP modifier of -3, and d6 damage apiece. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 when attacking with this weapon. If the bearer has more than 1 pair of Scything Talons, it can make 1 additional attack with this weapon each time it fights. So it comes with 3, right? So a Pincer Tail is strength, can't quite make that out, strength plus something. I want to say +2, but don't take my word on that. AP nothing and D3 damage apiece. Each time the bearer fights with one and only one of its attacks must be made with this weapon. Okay. So you have to use this tail once out of its 6 base attacks. And the last one there, can't quite make that out, is a melee weapon, strength plus or minus something, AP nothing and D3 damage. Each time the bearer fights, 1 and only one of its attacks must be made with this weapon. This weapon always wounds targets other than vehicles on a 2+. This model may replace its bioelectric pulse with a prehistoric pincer tail or tail spike, something like tail spike. This model may have a toxin sac or adrenal glands, has shadow in the warp and synapse, has subterranean assault, which we know that's how it arrives. And then you can have a unit of their basic infantry, I think Turvigons are what they're called, pop up in with you can pop up through its tunnel as well, wholly within 3 inches of the Trigon. Death throws. If a model is reduced to 0 wounds, roll a d6 before removing the model from the battlefield. On a 6, it lashes out on its death throws, and each unit within 3 inches suffers d3 mortal wounds. So same thing, explodes, but for what we used to know as monstrous creatures instead. It is a Tyranid. Its faction keywords are Tyranid and High Fleet. Its keywords are Monster and Trigon Prime. The Harspecs. So we'll see if we get a little closer for this one as well. Oh, this one's alright, actually. So Harspec starts at 13 wounds, and from 8 to 13 wounds remaining, it hits on 4s for both weapon skill and bliss skill, and has strength 7. Wait, we'll leave that, actually. That S is for something else. No, that and is strength 7. From 4 to 7 wounds remaining, it hits on 4's weapon skill and 5's bliss skill, and is strength 6. For 1 to 3 wounds remaining, it hits on 5's for weapon skill and bliss skill, and has strength 5. Harspecs can move 7 inches all the time, is toughness 8, 13 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 6, and a 3-up save. Now remember, a Harspecs is a single model armed with a grasping tongue, a ravenous maw, and shoveling claws. Don't think leadership 6, if it suffers a couple wounds, I'm just going to roll bad and kill it. No, remember that rule is for models removed, that becomes subtracted. So because it's leadership 6, and it's only a single model, it doesn't matter whatever you roll, because one model being removed is just going to die, so don't worry about that. Grasping Tongue is a 12-inch range shooting attack. It is Assault 1, Strength 6, Armor modifier -3, and D3 damage. This weapon can be fired within 1 inch of an enemy unit, and can target enemy units within 1 inch of friendly units. In addition, when a model is slain by this weapon, the Harspecs regains 1 lost wound, so it goes ump and heals itself. And you can use it in the shooting phase if your Harspex is engaged as well. Ravenous Maw is a melee weapon. It is strength user, armor modifier of -1, and D3 damage. Make D3 hit rolls for each attack made with this weapon instead of 1. Shoveling Claws is melee weapon, strength ×2, AP modifier of -3, and D6 damage. So yeah, Ravenous Maw, I kind of like that because that's what it comes equipped with each of these weapons, so it's not an option. You don't have any options as far as war gear. It has instinctive behavior, which we don't know about yet. Acid Blood. Each time this model loses a wound in the fight phase, roll a dice. On a 6, the unit inflicted the damage suffers a mortal wound after all of their attacks have been resolved. Rapacious Hunger. Each time a Harspex slays an enemy model with its Ravenous Maw, it can immediately make 1 extra attack with its Shoveling Claws. In addition, at the end of a fight phase in which the Harspex slew any models with its Ravenous Maw, it regains 1 wound lost earlier in the battle. Now, that isn't in addition to. In addition, at the end of the fight phase. No, that is in addition to the Grasping Tongue. Yeah. Harspex could be good. Yeah, and we don't know points cost and stuff yet, of course, but the fact that you can eat something with the maw and eat something with the tongue and heal a couple wounds, and that seems not bad. Frenzied Death Throes, sorry, I got a little mixed up there, thinking of stuff in my head, right? Planning. If a Harspex is reduced to 0 wounds, roll a dice before moving the model. On a 6 lashes out, and each unit within 3 inches suffers just flat out 3, not D3, just 3 mortal wounds. So just like explodes, not every explodes is the same. Same thing for every Frenzied Death Throes, it's not the same. So its faction keywords are Tyranids and High Fleet. Keywords are Monster and Harspex. So for your army list, we'll go over the psychic power here and some of your war gear options. So we'll see if we can get a little closer in on that. There we are. So the Horror has a warp charge of 6. If manifested, select a unit within 24 inches that is visible to the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, that unit must subtract 1 from their hit rolls and leadership characteristic. Oh, that's not bad. Catalyst has a warp charge of 6. If manifested, select a friendly Tyranids unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, each time a model from that unit suffers a wound or a mortal wound, roll a d6. On a roll of 5 or 6, that model does not lose a wound. So resistance to mortal wounds is always a good thing. Onslaught. Warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select a friendly Tyranids unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. That unit can advance and shoot this turn without suffering any penalties to Ballista skill for moving and shooting heavy weapons, or advancing and shooting assault weapons. In addition, this unit can also charge this turn. That seems really good for your Tyranid players. So you want to swamp something with Hormagaunts, you get to advance, shoot without penalties, and also charge. That seems pretty good. Onslaught's going to get cast a lot, guys. Save your deny rolls for Onslaught for sure. So the war gear options: basic bioweapons, Scything Talons, Spine Fists, and Death Spitters. Basic bio cannons, Barbed Strangler and Venom Cannons. Melee weapons: Rending Claws, Bone Swords, Lash Whip, and Bone Sword. So both combined in one model, I'm guessing. Monstrous bioweapons: Monstrous Rending Claws, Monstrous Bone Swords, and Lash Whip and Monstrous Bone Swords. Monstrous bio cannons: 2 Death Spitters and Slimer Maggots. 2 Devourers with Brain Leech Worms, Stranglethorn Cannon, and Heavy Venom Cannon. A model with a Stranglethorn Cannon or Heavy Venom Cannon cannot be armed with more than 1 cannon. So we have a couple of cost things here. This one's not as good. So our Scything Talons, any model equipped with that, look to be free. Scything Wings are 13 points. Thresher Scythe is 7. Toxic Lashes are 0. Toxin Spike is 1 point. And a Wicked Spur, it's probably not Vict Spur, so it's Wicked Spur is 0 points. A Adrenal Gland for Monstrous is 5 points. Adrenal Glands for other units, can't quite make that out, is 1 point. Toxin Sacs for a Hormagaunt is 2 points. Toxin Sacs for Hiveguard, Gargoyle, Moloch, Tervagon, and Tyrant Guard are 1 point per model. Toxin Sacs on Trigon Prime are 8 points, and Toxin Sacs on Carnifex, Gene Stealer, Hive Tyrant, Tyranid Prime, Tyranid Shrike, and Tyranid Warrior are 4 points. For the rest of them, Acid Maw is 4 points, Biostatic Rattle is 5 points, Blinding Venom is free, Bone Mace is 2 points, Bone Swords are 4 points, Claws and Teeth are free. Crushing Claws are 24 points. Distendable Jaws are free. Grasping Talons are free. Lash Whip and Bone Sword are 2 points. Lash Whip and Monstrous Bone Sword is 25. Massive Crushing Claws are 25 points. Massive Scything Talons on Turvagon or Maliceptor is 22 points. Massive Scything Talons, 2 or more pairs, on Trigon, Prime are 60 points. Massive Toxic Lashes are free. Monstrous Bone Swords are 35. Monstrous Crushing Claws are 15. Monstrous Rending Claws are 0. Monstrous Scything Talons on a Carnifex are 14 points. Monstrous Scything Talons on a Hive Tyrant are 31 points. Monstrous Scything Talons, 2 pairs on a Carnifex are 20 points. Monstrous Scything Talons, 2 pairs on a Hive Tyrant are 41 points. Powerful Limbs are 12. Prehensile Pincer Tail is 1 point. Ravenous Maw is free. Rending Claws are 2 points. Shoveling Claws are free. Scything Talons are free. Scything Wings are 13 points. Dash Scythe 7. Toxic Lashes are free, and Toxin Spike is 1 point. Ranged weapons. Acid Spray is 31 points. Remember, these are per weapon, per model. Barbed Strangler is 15. Bioelectric Pulse is 11 points. Bioelectric Pulse with Containment Spines is 21 points. Bioplasma is 9. Bioplasmic Cannon is 66 points. Choking Spores is 13 points. Death Spitters are 8 points. Death Spitter with Slimer Maggots are 10 points. A Devourer is 4 points. Devourer with Brain Leech Worms is 7 points. Drool Cannon is 16 points. Flame Spurt is 15 points. Flesh Hooks are 2. Flesh Borers are free. Flesh Borer Hive is 28 points. Grasping Tongue is 11 points. Heavy Venom Cannon is 30. Impaler Cannon is 30 points. Massive Toxic Lashes are 17 points. Rupture Cannon is 46 points. Shock Cannon is 21 points. Spike Rifle is free. Spine Fists on a Ravener are 3 points. Spine Fists on a Termagant are free. Spine Maws are 2 points. Spore Mine Launcher is 12 points. Stinger Salvo is 11 points. Stranglethorn Cannon is 38 points. Strangleweb is free. Tentaclids are 24 points. Toxic Lashes are 6 points. And a Venom Cannon is 9 points. Now as for the units themselves, the Biovores in units of 1 to 3 are 24 points. Again, this does not include the previous war year, so if you want to do some math, go check out and add together, right? Broodlord is 162 points. 1 to 3 Carnifexes in a unit are 67 points. An Exocrine is 150 points. A unit of 10 to 30 Gargoyles are 6 points per. A unit of 5 to 20 Gene Stealers are 10 points per. A Harpy is 78 points. A Harspex is 267. A Hive Crone is 92 points. A 1 to 3 Hive Guard in a unit are 18 points each. 1 Hive Tyrant is 143 points. A Hive Tyrant with Wings is 170 points. A unit of 10 to 30 Hormagaunts is 5 points each. A Lictor is 41 points. Maliceptor is 162. A Moloch is 104. Mucilid Spores are unit of 1 to 3 are 20 points each. Pyrovores in a unit of 1 to 3 are 23 points. Raveners in a unit of 3 to 9 are 23 points each. Ripper Swarms in a unit of 3 to 9 are 11 points each. Skylasher Swarms in a unit of 3 to 9 are 11 points each. Spore Mines in a unit of 3 to 6 are 10 points each. A Sporicist is 79 points. A unit of 10 to 30 Termagants are 4 points each. A Turvagon is 217 points. A Toxicrine is 135 points. A Trigon is 103 points. A Trigon Prime is 128 points. A Tyranid Prime is 100 points. 3 to 9 Tyranid Shrikes are 26 points. 3 to 9 Tyranid Warriors are 20 points each. Tyrannocyte, unit of 1, a single, is 98 points, and Tyrannofex is 174 points. Tyrant Guard in a unit of 1 to 3 are 35 points each. Venom Thropes in a unit of 3 to 6 are 25 points each. Zone Thropes in a unit of 3 to 6 are 40 points each. And last but certainly not least, we have our Hive Guard. So this is one we'll kind of do the math for you Tyranid players on the Hive Guard here before this will be our last thing. So stat lines and stuff first. Hive Guard can move 5 inches, has... Okay, because it's not English. Ballistic skill of hitting on 4s? Yeah, this is not English, so don't... let's get back to... Okay, weapon skills first. That's what I thought. Weapon skill hitting on a 4+, ballistic skill hitting on a 3+. That seems weird. It should be the other way. To me, strength 4, toughness 5, 3 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 7, and a 4-up save. Unit can be up to 3 Hive Guard. You can, or sorry, yeah, unit depending on your unit, 3 Hive Guard. Comes with a Impaler Cannon, which is 36-inch range, heavy 2, strength 8. Armor modifier -2 and D3 damage. Don't ask me about the special rule. It's upgradable things. Some other kind of cannon is 24-inch range, assault D3, strength 7, armor -1, and D3 damage. So let's see. So it's Impaler cannon. Has a couple of options and instinctive behavior. So let's go. It's Impaler cannon. Let's see how much that is. So our Hive Guard. Where's our Hive Guard? Is right here. So 18 points for 1. Plus it's Impaler cannon. It's 30 points. So 1 Hive Guard. Stock Hive Guard is 48 points each. Done, right? You want to bring 3. They're, what would that be? 150 minus 6, 144 points for 3 Hive Guard. I'm not a Tyranid player. I've just seen them used a lot, so I'm not sure what they were before. It's also, you gotta be careful when comparing where stuff is at now to where it was before, because it's a new game. It's a new game. There's new wound mechanics. There's new, more things have more wounds. There's completely different abilities on things. Come into it at a new game. You can compare, but don't compare. I would say anyway, effectiveness in 8th edition to effectiveness in 7th edition, because it's a completely different game. It's not like they just introduced flyers, right? They didn't just do that. They changed hitting and wounding, and everything can hurt everything now, and we're not capped at strength or toughness 10 or 10 wounds. By far we're not capped at. Leadership is something completely different now. Just so don't necessarily compare effectiveness in 7th to 8th. If you're a Tyranid player and you haven't used a certain unit forever, try it in a few games, right? Don't do a one and done, because you could roll bad and you never know. Because it is still a dice-based game. No matter how we want to try and increase our odds and cheese stuff, it is still a dice-based game. So you could have a roll of bad luck and lose really, really badly with what you thought was a strong army. So that's what I'm saying is, hang on to your models and try them, right? Try a bunch of stuff when 8th comes out, or if you, like, realistically, if you have a bunch of Tyranids, you can kind of put together something right now and play against somebody who's Blood Angels or Space Marines, who the stuff is out there for right now. Or if you watch the Necron video, I could play with a couple of my Necron units, because I kind of know a couple of their things, right? But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys had an awesome time. Don't forget to share, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to get entered in on the giveaway, comment on this or any other Warhammer 40k video, and to become a subscriber as well. Make sure your subscriptions are set to public so that I can see you're subscribed and enter you in the giveaway. Also, you may have noticed this channel is now monetized. From now until June 17th, though, every penny that I make from the monetization will go into additional prizes for the giveaway. So stock, what we're giving away for sure is the 280-page core, nice, awesome, fancy rule and fluff book, and 5 indexes. But anything I make from the monetization until June 17th will go forwards towards more prizes for that draw, 100% of it. So whether that's another index, a core rule book, or even all the way up to a starter kit, all of that becomes entered into the draw the more views and stuff this gets. So just to let you guys know, the more views, the more shares, the more everything, the more prizes for you guys. That's all I got for you for today. Hopefully you have an awesome rest of your day, you Space Wolf, Tyranid, and Titan players. Good luck going forward in 8th edition. And remember, as always, even you Tyranid biomorph things, the Emperor protects.